Hello, everyone, and welcome to what are we on? 9, maybe 10. I think this is the 10th.
Double digits, y'all.
Wow, yeah, 10th podcast. Woot woot.
Yeah. Okay. I know, we're super excited. We are bursting with energy.
You just like fucking hacked out your lungs there. You were so excited.
Yeah, that's what a buffalo stromboli. It's not a stromboli, guys. It's a calzone, but they call it a stromboli.
I mean, I don't know what the difference is. I think calzone is just like sealed.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, strombolis are always like square, and they're supposed to have like Italian meats in them. But a calzone is mostly cheese and also hemispherical.
Semicircular.
That's the one. We talked about this while we were in the pizza shop. We were just like, why is it hemi and semi and hemi? That's not a one.
No, hemi is not a thing. Hemi is an engine.
Hemi. It's the half of a boomaye.
Yeah, which is a real word they used to chant at Muhammad Ali, because it means kill them in like some Aboriginal dialect.
Yo, that's what I mean. Those are the original core workouts. The Aboriginals.
That was just terrible.
Well, you know what can redeem terrible jokes? Star Wars.
Sometimes.
Yeah, we don't. There's one big joke in the first episode that doesn't stop being funny.
I don't even remember it. Did I tell it?
It's the alien rabbit with eye stalks.
Oh, right. That thing. Okay. I thought you meant like an actual joke.
No,
In our first episode. I'm like, I haven't listened to our first episode in probably ever.
Should go back and reflect.
I hate the sound of my own voice. That's one of the problems with it.
Mm-hmm. I hate the content of my own voice. It sounds great. I just spout bullcrap constantly.
Yeah. Did I issue this addendum? Yeah, I did issue that addendum. Okay, I just tried to make sure. Actually, some news that I'm remembering now that
we'll get into the Rogue One trailer.
We're stalling for time. Is that Batman v Superman saw like an 81% dip in its box office number on its second weekend.
Ooh,
that's not good.
Yeah. Oh, can we talk about some of the?
Oh yeah, like Communion.
Communion. That was.
Yeah. So Peter texts me somewhat frantically.
I was just like, wait, I saw this new stuff.
He's like, Kurt, go on YouTube and search Communion. I'm like, what the fuck am I searching Communion for? Did some rabbi like punt some kid or something? And yes, I do not. The irony that I said some rabbi when we were talking about Communion is not lost on me. But no, like it was a deleted scene from Batman v Superman when.
Oh, it was a deleted scene?
I think so. That's what I gathered from the comments.
Okay.
And it was the paramilitary people going to arrest Lex, and like you see a brief smidget of some creature, some horrifying horned demon-like creature, and Peter's like, people are saying it's Darkseid. I'm like, that don't look like no Darkseid I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I pose that it might be Trigun.
The demon.
Yeah,
Lord.
But that didn't make a whole lot of sense in terms of like how the story's going.
Mm-hmm. And there was one character that someone said that kind of seemed plausible.
There are a couple characters like I looked more into this because it's sort of my job with this whole podcast. And what I found, there's like two major theories that are going around that seem most plausible to me. And one is that it's Steppenwolf, not the band, but the Apocalypse. That's Darkseid's planet.
Yeah.
Apocalypsean general.
Yeah.
And I forget the character's name, but it's Darkseid's father. I'm not even going to look it up because it's some weird amalgamation of letters that I don't know how to pronounce.
It is a comic book alien name.
Yeah.
Lots of...
But yeah, like the whole thing seems to be more geared toward like the New Gods story in terms of like the characters they're pulling from for the big guns. But yeah, like Peter and I were talking about this, that it makes sense. You know, you save Darkseid for Justice League 2, and you still have a reason for Justice League 1 to exist.
Yeah. Other than money.
Yeah. Do you have anything more to add on that? I don't mean to
No,
step
that's okay.
over all your
I think
talking time.
that's okay. The last thing I wanted to say about that was that it, even though it was a deleted scene, it worked really well as like a post-movie thing.
Yeah, it would have been a good tag. It just wouldn't make any sense because of like continuity, which is probably why they didn't include it as a tag. But I don't know. It is kind of interesting that they chose to omit that scene in lieu of some of the scenes they kept.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, the extended cut, which is rated R, is going to be an extra half hour long, which will just be joyous.
But
I'm sure.
But like, we'll all be rated R stuff.
I don't know. I think it's just there's enough like violence or swearing or whatever included in the. I really hope these lines here aren't like background noise. That's going to destroy things. Anyway, fucking like enough violence, sexual content, or like language
R,
to
material.
Yeah, to like push it to R. Like I'm sure they cut some stuff to keep a PG-13 rating because there was some pretty dark shit in the movie.
Yeah, I could see it turning pretty nasty.
Yeah, like I saw the opportunities to make it rated R. I would have preferred it to be rated R because no kids.
Yep. I would love to see like.
I want kids. I'm a superhero movie.
I was gonna say like I would have loved to see a Batman torture scene, but we already kind of saw that in the beginning of it.
The thing about like the reason like I understand that like the cartoons and stuff like made superheroes like a kids thing. But I've read a lot of comic books in my life, and there's some fucked up shit in comic books. I wouldn't say they're really for kids.
I think that was a big trend towards the later half of the 20th century because, when comic books started out, they were like just sort of a kids thing. But
I'd say they're more like wartime propaganda.
Yeah. Which has, I would still say it had a big bent towards children and families.
Yeah, because those were the people who were home during the war.
Right, and superheroes came out of just like before comics were just like the funnies.
Yeah.
Or like, the adventuring darers of Dexter Dunderless.
Yeah.
But then they had superheroes and people were like, whoa, this is awesome. And they did that, and then the Golden Age, and then Silver Age, and then Image.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm skipping all the
so
much
like
comic book
somewhere
stuff.
in the middle there, the comics code became a thing, and I think that like literally limited storytelling. But I think it came into existence because some of the stories were getting edgier. Like I don't know if it's Silver Era or Bronze Era. Like I don't know when the like cutoff dates are, but like. The issue of Spider-Man where Gwen Stacy dies.
Yeah, that was
like,
a pretty big
that
one.
was one of the things that like prompted the comic code, which is terrible for the industry in general. But yeah, like after that was like rebuked. Everyone's like, well, I'm gonna write all the stories that you told me I couldn't for so long. And then you got a lot of like Spawns and
grimdark stuff.
Hellboys and, just darker storytellings in general.
I mean, good stuff came out, like The Killing Joke.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that was bad.
But
it was good for the industry, I think, because, like, it's hard to tell a compelling story when you're writing towards kids.
Yeah.
I think Batman the Animated Series, and just generally the DC animated universe, did a good job by just like they didn't like tell stories for kids. They just told good stories, and because they were superheroes and like there was intrigue abound. It held kids' interest. But like even as an adult, I go back, I watched Batman the Animated Series, I watched Justice League, and I'm still engrossed.
Yeah, I think that's the best. That's really the best way to write a kid show.
Yeah.
It's just write a good show that doesn't, like, that can pull some of the, explicitly adult stuff.
Like, don't, like, put swears and shit in it and, like, fucking, I don't know.
And don't make it Star Trek levels of exposition.
Yeah, like...
Because kids can enjoy Star Trek, don't get me wrong, but, like, young kids will not... That's not their forte, for the most part.
Speaking of Star Trek, the other side of that coin, Star Wars, transition back far less, I don't know which transition was worse. Vote in the comments. Star Wars Rogue One, trailer, thing that happened.
Before the trailer, I was there, I was looking at stuff the night before, and they had the trailer teaser. And I looked at it, I'm like, what exactly could that be? It was a 6-second clip of one shot from the trailer, and it said, look for it tomorrow morning in CBS.
I think we've reached a weird point in human history when we have teasers for trailers. I've heard of teaser trailers before, but never a trailer teaser. The order of words is very important.
Yes.
What were we talking about? Star Wars.
Yeah. So...
Rogue One, go.
Rogue One. Alright, it's a side of the Star Wars universe we've kind of wanted to see for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, because, like, I guess the plot of Rogue One is more or less the first paragraph of the crawl of A New Hope.
Yeah.
So it's how the rebels ended up with the Death Star plans to begin with. Although I will make a sweeping statement about the trailer. I feel kind of lied to, because I was told that many Bothans died to get those plans, yet in the trailer I did not see one Bothan.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll throw that in there.
You weren't sure how to react to that?
Because I was thinking, like, wasn't that wasn't the first one, right? Many Bothans died.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was, like, in the third one, but no. That's not right.
No, many Bothans died to get the plans in the first one.
Okay.
It's the same bitch who's in the movie, like, I don't know her name. The girl with the, like, really pressed on hair helmet and the white dressy robe thing.
Whatever those were.
Whatever her name might be.
But, yes, Rogue One, I like seeing, crafty rogues, smugglers, and bounty hunters kind of ragtagging together, expendable style.
I think it looks interesting. I think I'll end up liking it more than I liked Episode 7, just because there's a little more leeway, Like, it has to end a certain way, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's more you can do with the story in of itself. I feel like painting with some constraints is good at this point in the Star Wars universe, because, like, one of the things I didn't like about Episode 7 is that, like, it had all this opportunity to be whatever the fuck it wanted to be, but it decided to be another Episode 4. And I was like, why?
Why'd you do that, man?
Like, you could literally tell any story you wanted, right?
Right.
Because you're free from the bounds, like...
You're out of it. Yeah. But so we'll hope we can see some novelty, some unique turns in this, even though the stories are kind of predetermined.
Yeah, we know point B. We don't necessarily know point A, even.
That's true.
Or how we get from wherever point A may be to point B.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it also kind of... I'm expecting that it's going to do one of the things that Star Wars has a very good strength for. And you can... It's the strength of relatability. And you can see how this changes and correlates with some of the quality of the movies. In the original trilogy, you followed Luke from his path as a, farm boy to one of the heroes of the galaxy. But you start out with him, like, as a farm boy, and you can easily relate to him, and there are all these relatable characters, and Obi-Wan and Darth Vader and the Emperor were kept distant.
Yeah.
Because they were these mysterious force figures, and there's all that stuff going on. and they could just be seen as the wise old, spiritualists.
Yeah.
And then the new trilogy, the prequels, had them being superhero, crazy warriors who could do everything, and problems were not nearly as hard and had to be contrived on politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not relatable at all.
The prequels, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
I could talk a long time about all the stuff I didn't like about the prequels. But like I said in our first episode, like, we're not going to say anything on that hasn't already been said 1,000 times. But like I'm interested to see how Rogue One turns out. Like, I liked a lot of the shots in the trailer looked pretty good.
The AT
visually.
Scene.
Yes, I really like that.
Again, that embodies for me like that relatability, because like you've seen them from ground level with just like blasters.
Yeah.
And it took a Jedi and like skilled pilots a lot of effort and a lot of death to be able to take those things down, but they're out there just running up against them, being like, these things are huge and we're probably gonna die.
Yeah. I guess from what I heard, the guy directing Rogue One is the same guy who directed Godzilla. I'm not sure like how much involvement he had in like the writing process of that, but I think if he had a hand in that, I think his style will work better for this movie than it worked for Godzilla. Because like when we talked about I don't know if we talked about this or not when we talked about Batman versus Superman, but like Godzilla, you wanted to see Godzilla in that movie.
Yeah.
And what you got was like a very like character-driven human piece, which I think is what Rogue One kind of needs to be. Because I think what's going to happen is like they're going to build you, like you're going to come to like these characters, and then like most of them are going to die, and you're going to walk out of the theater being not okay.
Yeah.
For like a week and a half.
Yeah, it's the field strip we need. And also, if he's gonna do it like Godzilla and leave the big stuff for a small portion of the film, it'll work, because you saw the shot of the Death Star, and while it looked a little more CGI, you could, felt more CGI-ish, it still felt huge and imposing.
I think one of his strengths as a director is conveying scale.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope that the Death Star will be as imposing and climactic of a scene as I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
I hope the scene with like the special black stormtroopers will be like a super subtle scene where like maybe they do camouflage or something, and it's one of those scenes where like everything's quiet and it's panning around like the forest and they don't know where things are, and like one at a time they start getting picked off.
Right, like something on Predator.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't remember. Like, I don't think I got a good look at any of the vanilla stormtroopers. Is it the classic? It's the classic helmet design, right? It's
I
not
think
this
so.
new agey bullshit First Order.
I'm pretty sure they kept standard to that.
Good, because I do not like. It's just watch the first episode. You'll know my thoughts.
Yeah. In sum, for me, I could see where you call it like too tablety. Kind of looks like too iPad generation design.
Yeah, because it's like fucking like it's not even that. It's just like why you gotta go and change the stormtrooper helmet, like, and so minutely. Like you changed it so little. Why not just keep the original?
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyway, I think it looks good. I'm pretty excited for this. J.J. Abrams isn't attached to this, so I can feel excited for a trailer that looks good, because J.J. Abrams knows how to make a good trailer, but the movie follow-up usually disappoints.
Speaking of disappointing movies.
Oh yeah, all right. So the story goes here is that like before we jumped on to record the podcast, for whatever reason, we were just talking about, I don't remember what prompted it, but we were talking about Dragon Ball Z more specifically, and like some of the movies and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just talk about this on the podcast. It falls into the domain of the stuff we talk about, as it is both movies and based off of a comic book of sorts. So
I think it's fair game.
Yeah, I'm sure the Venn diagram of our listeners and Dragon Ball Z fans has quite a bit of overlap.
Yeah. It's pretty much on one circle
Yeah.
with a couple of love handles on the side.
Yeah, I think any like male who grew up between the years 1988 and 1999 has watched Dragon Ball Z. Like, and I'll tell this story real quick. My friend Nick and I went to. Actually, no, Nick didn't. Nick wasn't able to make it. We went to.
He didn't make it.
No, we went to see the new Dragon Ball movie that came out last year, like December. Revival of F. And like it was just a very interesting cross section of humanity in the theater. Because you had, like, your weebs, the people you'd expect to be there, and your nerds, but you also had, like, really gruff-looking, street tough-looking kind of guys, and you had,
like,
parents with their kids, and just people like me, who you'd just be like, oh, that's a normal-looking dude. Mm-hmm. It was very, very interesting. It just kind of speaks to, like, how far-reaching the series is.
Yeah, I think that could almost be another topic for another time, is like demographics and how they interact with comics and comic culture. Because that's
a pretty heavy duty topic there.
So maybe we'll bring that out if we want to bring out the heavy guns. But for now, we suffice to say that Dragon Ball Z was a big cultural commonality.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Big deal. So, like, I don't know, how do you want to frame this? Like, I think we were just going to talk about, like, the movies, at least for now, and, like, maybe revisit it as a topic later.
Yeah,
but I think we just kind of, like, need to frame the scope a little bit, because we could probably ramble on about it for 3 hours if we weren't careful.
Yeah, so this might be a little more...
We'll see how this goes,
yeah.
So, I don't know. What's the earliest, like, not like the order that you saw them, but like canonically, what's the earliest Dragon Ball movie that you've seen?
That would have to be, I feel like Lord Slug.
Yeah, I think that's as early as I've gone too. What'd you think of that one?
I thought it was pretty good.
I think it's one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's not as, like, I don't know. I think some of the movies rely a little too heavily on, like, the Deus Ex Machina transformation or power-up or anything. But with Lord Slug, yeah, you had, like, the
Proto-Super Saiyan.
Half Super Saiyan nonsense going on there. But it wasn't what stopped him. What stopped him was, like, just creative thinking on the part of the crew to get him. I really appreciated that. I appreciated how, like Piccolo's insider knowledge of Namekian physiology and stuff, like, helped fell the big bad guy.
And built the characters, too, at the same time.
I think what's interesting about Lord Slug is it is one of... Wait, no, actually, no. The earliest Dragon Ball Z movie I saw was Dead Zone. Did you see Dead Zone?
Yeah, I've seen stuff from it.
Okay.
I mean, we've all seen the part where Gohan just, like, pees because he's drunk out of his mind. Pees on Krillin's face.
But yeah, Dead Zone's earlier. Like, Dead Zone and Lord Slug, I think, are the only two, like, maybe even instances in all of, like, Dragon Ball where the bad guy gets their wish granted.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any other...
I can't think of anyone's.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
because Garlic Jr. Wish... I can't believe that's his name. It just sounds so weird coming out of my mouth.
Just like garlic.
Like, I read it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Garlic Jr., whatever. But now just actually saying it really sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, no, at least the other, like, say, alien names were, like, not in straight up
They were at least
vegetables.
veiled a little
like
bit.
Kakarot.
Yeah. And Vegeta, which is just fucking, that's lazy. That's just like the word for vegetable, thinly veiled.
Nappa, they just sliced off the cabbage.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying?
Garlic Jr.
Yeah, Garlic Jr., he wished for immortality, and he got his wish. And that's the big one. That's like the one everyone was after, and he was the only one who got it. And only appears in a movie in a filler arc in the anime.
Yeah. Because they couldn't have that going on.
No, and
I would actually like it if they had like someone who got immortality granted and stuck around as a bad guy for a while.
Yeah,
That would be
but
pretty
it's just
cool.
like you're really limited in like storytelling at that point. Because at least like the established Dragon Ball Z progression of bad guys, you know, like you fight them for a while, you figure out how to beat them, and you move on to the next one. Like that'd be kind of like I agree that it'd be nice to kind of like see that mold broken a little bit, but I think it kind of puts you in a bit of a pigeonhole in terms of writing it.
Yeah, especially with those tropes.
Yeah. Garlic Jr. got immortality, Lord Slug got eternal youth, which I think, really, he's the smart one. Because if I were to wish for something, I would wish for eternal youth and just live however long I was going to live.
And you could just die still.
Yeah, I could, I could die still, because I think living forever would get incredibly boring.
And just drive you insane and past insane.
And then but like, just being able to be in my physical and mental prime for the rest of my life sounds kind of nice.
Oh yeah, that's a dream.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what's interesting about Lord Slug.
That's also kind of why I kind of like the earlier movies, because, well, I'll bring it back to relatability again. Like in some of the later movies, I feel like they sort of shoehorned in the reason why they had to save everyone.
Yeah, I can see
know.
that. There are definitely examples of what you're talking about, but like I don't know, it was just kind of like there was a run where like the movies were just really hit or miss, and like even if you ask like different people, like you could ask like 5 different people, oh, what'd you think of Super Android 13, and they'd be 5 different answers.
Yeah.
So like. Yeah, that's the earliest. I mean, I saw a revival of F, so that's the latest anyone can see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you want to just like pick a couple favorites? Talk about let's talk about like best and worst. Let's do best and worst.
Okay.
So, do you want to start with best, or do you want to start with worst? Say the best for last.
Sure.
As is the trope. So I don't know. Let's talk about. All right, for you, what's like. Just name one that you like didn't particularly care for.
Because usually, like, if I went on a lot of my friends' recommendations, because he was like crazy into Dragon Ball, so if he didn't talk about a movie, I probably didn't end up seeing it.
Okay, well, like I've seen close. I think I've seen like 13 of the 17. So
right,
like, just talk about the ones you've seen.
I don't know,
unless you haven't seen like a bad one.
Yeah,
which would be a little stunning.
My movie is a little limited. I don't know. I didn't see like Bio Broly.
That was going to be my worst example.
Yeah, I could even see like I never saw it, but even from like the concept, I'm like, oh, it's just.
I might have it here. If the morbid curiosity overtakes you.
Oh no.
Yeah, I bought it because the other 2 Brawly movies were pretty good, and they were in a box set.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Brawly was awesome.
That's one of my favorites. But like we'll talk about that when we get to the
second
best.
half. Yeah.
Yeah, but like for me, the worst was Bio Brawly, because you took this really cool character who was established as being like weirdly powerful, like legendary Super Saiyan, like the exact power of that form was never like really compared.
Yeah.
Like all we have to compare it to is he beat the shit out of everyone in the first movie, and he beat the shit out of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the second movie.
He just breaks all the rules.
Yeah. And then you get Bio Brawly, and it's like I don't know if they tried to sell him as being stronger as Bio Brawly, but if he's getting taken out by Android 18, Trunks, and Goten, clearly he has lost quite a bit of his edge.
He's not the prime Brawly. But yeah, like, he just like, I saw it, I'm like, oh, he's goopy now.
Yeah, it's just the fucking weirdest thing, because like the clone breaks out of whatever tube, and you're like, oh shit, son, this is about to get real. Because Brawly's on the loose, and all you've got is Trunks, Goten, Krillin, Android 18, and Hercule.
Oh,
Not exactly the best of the best. You ain't got your world beaters out here.
Yep.
So, and then, like, they fucking leak the Colger fluid or whatever it was called on him, and he gets all goopy and, like, has this weird power set, and then, like, they splash water on him, and he calcifies and crumbles to dust.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's...
Not exactly a shining example of good Dragon Ball Z movies.
Yeah.
I think another one that I didn't care for, but other people seem to like. But of course, there's people who like just about everyone. Except I think Bio Brawly is pretty universally derived.
Yeah.
Or derided. But I didn't like the one with Hyrudigan. Like
Which one?
The Dragon Fist one.
I
don't know what the English translation of it was. But the gist of it is like they, I don't know, they just introduced too much stuff. Like, you meet Tapion, who I guess is the guy who gave Trunks the sword that he had in the future. And apparently he plays an ocarina.
That's nice.
And, like, apparently there's some ancient evil monster thing. And, like, it was like the most, like, by the numbers Dragon Ball Z movie ever. And, like, I didn't particularly care for it because it's just, like, super Deus Ex Machina kind of ending. Like, Goku's like, okay, I'll just go Super Saiyan 3 and then do this Dragon Fist thing that I've never done before. And it'll kill him.
Yeah. Oh, I do know the Dragon Fist, though, from Budokai.
Yeah.
That's where I got that.
That's where that comes from. I'm trying to think of some of the
Was
other
there
ones
the
I
one...
didn't like.
Wasn't there the movie with, like, Vegeta's cousin or brother, Tarble?
Oh, yeah, that was kind of like an OVA, so I don't really count it. I think I've seen it.
I feel that's really the bridge to the modern, like...
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z's, where they change the art style up a little bit.
I prefer the new art style.
Yeah, it's nice, clean.
Not like I dislike the old art style, but like it looks very modern and high resi. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I didn't care for. Like, a lot of people talk shit about Return of Cooler, and I'll admit that it doesn't look as polished as some of the other movies, but I actually kind of like that one. I don't know, maybe it was just me. I thought it had a cool ending, and like it was kind of cool to see, you know, Goku, Vegeta, and Metacooler kind of throw down in a triple threat.
Going at it. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, like, if you don't have any more bad ones, I guess we can move on to some of our favorites.
Yeah. I kind of like Bardock.
Bardock's an interesting one for me.
Yeah. Just the stuff... I mean, the stuff it does to the continuity is... Well, I mean, that's Return of Bardock.
Yeah, like,
Return of
yeah,
Bardock,
the episode of Bardock or whatever. Yeah, the whole fucking... Yeah, let's ignore that one.
Yeah.
Like, I liked... There was a lot of cool stuff in Bardock. And I think I'll say I'll like it because it just had a lot of cool stuff in it. Like, you got to see Planet Vegeta, like, in its prime, I guess. Like, you got to see what Saiyan society was like, and you got to meet a lot of, like, characters that you hadn't really been introduced to, and, like, you got a little more background on people.
Yeah, it's kind of like that dramatic irony sort of thing where you know all the characters that have shown up.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is before, you know...
Yeah, I think it was...
Establish their power.
It was an okay... Like, the thing that bugs me about it is, like, the whole kind of, like, story element that ties the whole thing together as a movie is just kind of, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, the whatever alien lunges at him, and now he can see the future.
But not the good future, like the That's So Raven future.
No, like, he sees the destruction of his planet. I can...
Yeah.
Like, and from there, like, I understand, like, the whole, like, why he'd, like, go mad and stuff, and, like...
I can understand that motivation.
Try to lead... Like, from, like, the character standpoint, like, the motivations make sense and all that, and it's a good overall it's a very well structured plot, and like it's the sad ending. You don't see that too often in these movies. Like, I think they came out together, or like around the same time, Bardock and History of Trunks, which are both
pretty downers.
They're very similar, yeah, and they're similar in that they're really kind of downers, and like like where the story goes and such, but still like they're both pretty well executed movies in terms of like plot and the characters and all that. Like, I really liked History of Trunks too, like just as a character piece. I thought it was kind of like, again, it's like super depressing.
Yeah. But it tells you so much.
Yeah, like they're really good from that standpoint. Talking about it now, like reasoning through it, it's like, yeah, those were actually some quality pieces of work there.
Yeah, like, sometimes they have the really actiony ones. That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But sometimes they can really pull out some moments.
I'll rank History of Trunks a little bit ahead of Bardock, just because like its well-developed plot doesn't hinge on that one really weird event happening. Like, History of Trunks is all very coherent.
Right, it's pretty natural how it flows.
Yeah, because they're outmatched. Gohan dies. It makes sense. Like, why, one thing leads to another. We talked about Brawly.
Yep.
The thing I really appreciate about Brawly, other than its banging soundtrack and the English dub, is that I think one of the important things to have with a Dragon Ball Z movie is a sense of dread. Like, a really powerful villain where you're like, oh shit, how are they going to pull this out?
Like Cell always freaked me out.
Yeah.
I remember I saw the first thing of Cell and I saw him drink the dude, and I was like, alright, I'm not going to watch this for a while.
That's gonna give me nightmares for the foreseeable future. But, Revival of F could have been such a great movie, but there was never this sense of dread. Because, and spoilers, there's going to be spoilers for all this, but it's been out for a year, so if you haven't seen it now, whose fault is it really? But there was never a sense of dread, because frickin' Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or whatever the fuck the blue-haired Super Saiyan is called, it fought pretty much evenly with Golden Frieza from the get-go. And then it's like, oh yeah, Golden Frieza, like, he hasn't mastered the form, so his ki's dropping rapidly, and now he's weaker.
Oh.
And then, like, Goku and Vegeta were trading off fighting him, and it's like, they're both there, so there's really no... And then you got the God of Destruction and his handler there, too, and it's like, there's no real sense of peril.
You got everyone backed up against him.
Yeah, like, he's never gonna, like, get through everyone.
And I feel like that's just something that's happened to Frieza's race. It's just like ever since the first arc,
I don't know. Like, I felt
maybe just Frieza, but
yeah, like I felt Return of Cooler, like, and
that
Cooler's Revenge, less so, but Return of Cooler, like, they were outgunned super seriously. Like, there were so many Metacoolers, and they, like, could barely take out one. And then, like, I thought, like I said, I thought the ending was pretty cool, how they just kind of, like, overloaded the thing. But Return of Cooler, like, Cooler was kicking the shit out of Goku, and then he turned Super Saiyan. But that was the one thing I didn't like about that fight, was just, like, I wish that, like, they would have found a different way to end that. Because, like, Cooler shows up in, like, what was previously thought of as, like, the final transformation. Like, Frieza's final form is what Cooler shows up at. And then he has one more transformation after that. But it's still beaten by Super Saiyan. Like, I understand that you want to, like, if you want to convey that Super Saiyan's, like, that much more powerful... And, he's gotten stronger since he fought Frieza, obviously, because he got the shit kicked out of him. But like, I just thought the design of Cooler's final form was like really cool, and I didn't like to see it go out like such a pansy.
Yeah.
That was just an aesthetic thing. But anyway, back to Brawly. Like, sense of dread. I don't think there's a Dragon Ball movie that does it better than Brawly. Because, like, once he goes Legendary Super Saiyan, there's, like, no hope. And then, like, Piccolo shows up and you're like, glimmer of hope. Nope. Gets the shit kicked out of him, too. The only thing I dislike about Brawly is the ending. Because it's kind of like...
Yeah.
This is not great.
Probably could have.
Yeah, like they could have done something a little better because it's just like they channel all their energy into Goku and he like fucking one punches him, which is like forgivable because he comes back.
Kind of Spirit Bomb-esque.
Yeah,
but
and it's kind of forgivable because Brawly comes back. He has another movie,
right? And
the ending of that's a little bit better because they blast his ass into the fucking sun. Like Cooler was blasting into the sun.
Yeah.
The sun.
It's a real nice...
Sun is like the MVP of Dragon Ball universe.
That's why fucking... I almost feel like whenever someone does like a Superman versus Goku battle, like Superman will win because Goku should be like, go into the sun.
He tried to blast him in the sun because that's how he's won so many fights.
And Superman's like, alright, I can roll with this.
I don't know. I think Goku would win in a fight because like, as Goofy... I think a lot of people like lose sight. Like the characterization of Goku in Dragon Ball Z Abridged is how they think he is in the actual series. Mm-hmm. But when shit gets serious, he can throw down.
Oh yeah.
Really seriously, and he's pretty and kind of like plan to eradicate the Super Saiyans, which like never got an English dub, and it was like an OVA that was included with Raging Blast 2. He noticed, like, the villain Hachiyak, he noticed, like, every time he went to do his super power blast, that he'd, like, kind of, like, count down a little bit. So I feel like, during the course of the fight, Goku would notice that Superman draws his power from the sun, and, grab him in instant transmission to a planet with either a red sun, where he'd just be a regular dude.
Or just starlight.
Very far away from the sun where he wouldn't be as powerful.
Right. Yeah.
So suck it, Death Battle. Screw Attack's Death Battle is just such a bad series.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we did all this research. I'm like, you do know that basic physics equation you applied doesn't actually work here. Because, light-based attacks, light can accelerate as though it had no mass. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, you don't really understand what you're doing here with your math.
This doesn't make any sense. And that, before we get back to finish this thing, just the fact of like, there's a subreddit for character battles, and they have pretty strict rules. Like, they do everything based on feats.
Right.
So, based on feats, Superman is super broken because they just write him to do whatever.
Yeah.
Superman Prime, fucking... What was it? Superboy Prime. Whichever one broke the universe.
I don't know, probably Superman Prime. But yeah, like, that's the thing about, like, a comic book character versus a manga character. Like, a manga usually has one author. Mm-hmm. And, everything's within that universe. But, like, everyone, like, writes a Superman story. And he's as strong as they need him to be to tell their story. But,
exactly.
like, again, I stand by that Goku would probably beat Superman. Especially if you consider Ki to be magic, which I think it is. I don't agree with their assessment that, like, oh, when they use magic in the series, it's clearly something different. I'm like, not kinda, I guess.
Because it's all Japanese, so it's all spiritual energy.
Spiritual energy, I don't know, that seems kind of magic to me.
Yeah.
Fingers still hurt.
Anyways,
talked about Brawly, I really liked. Is there any other ones that stand out to you? I think BoJack is one of the most underrated Dragon Ball Z movies ever.
Yeah.
I think it's got a good plot leading into the main villain throwdown. It's well paced with action, and Gohan gets to be a hero for once, which is nice.
Yeah, he gets to
gets his moment in the sun. I like Fusion Reborn a lot. I would have liked to see more Gogeta.
Yeah.
But I think overall the movie was pretty good. I talked about how much I liked
What'd you think?
Coolidge's Revenge.
What do you think about Battle of the Gods?
I thought when it got serious and they fought, it was pretty interesting. I didn't like how the original Super Saiyan God form looked, because it was like Kaioken without muscle. And I didn't like the whole fucking, like, he loses the form, but he's still fighting, like, at the power of the form.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it was
bad.
like, really, guys? Come on. Like, when I think they were a little too heavy-handed with the comedic elements of it, and it felt really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was okay. I liked Revival of F better.
And those two were the first ones they'd done in a while, right?
Yeah, it was like
So it's kind of
17 years or something like that.
Yeah, another one of the lead-ins to
Dragon Ball Super, which I haven't had a chance to
I
watch
haven't
yet.
seen that either. I've heard it's okay.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things.
So maybe we should watch.
Maybe we should watch some of that and review it.
But we still have to get through Daredevil. So
Yeah. I will remember to write down the Netflix credentials before Peter leaves here and give them to him. I still need to finish the 2 episodes that I...
Yeah.
I love
just
how...
watch those. I'll just watch the last 2 episodes of the season.
Yeah, that'll learn you real quick. Anyway, I think that about covers it. Like, there's... All the other movies I thought were kind of like blah. And we talked about most of them.
Did they... There is one thing. Did they ever make a Dragon Ball movie? I don't think so, right?
I think there was one. Like, I think it was, like, the last movie, and it was, like, The Path to Power or something like that. And it was just kind of, like, a summary of the original Dragon Ball.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always liked... I have a soft spot for original Dragon Ball. Because, like...
OG Dragon Ball is interesting.
Because it was more kung fu based and less...
Yeah, it was more about training paying off than, like, transformations and stuff. But it's hard to go back from Z to watch OG Dragon Ball, and that's how I took it.
Right.
So, like, I don't know, like, the nostalgia is with Z and me. And I think overall Z is a stronger series.
Yeah, I'm sure Toriyama hit his stride.
Yeah.
But, like, there is those nice elements, and, I guess it happens to relatability, and where they're not, like...
Yeah, like Dragon Ball is good. It's just it's a much different tone.
Yeah.
Which is much looser.
I'm glad that they put a Dragon Ball Z at the end, to really
differentiate.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna do it for us now. I think we're gonna listen to this audio. Hope it isn't crap. And
we're seeing these crackles.
Yeah.
In the waveform.
So we'll push this out to you guys, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Remember, you can always send in suggestions or questions to saturnstuds@outlook.com, and all the links to all the stuff will be on the YouTube video, which will be found at YouTube/C/SaturnStuds LPS, which is LPs, but I don't know if you would spell that differently. Anyway.
Spanish version, LPs.
LPs. LPs. Alright, we're gonna get out of here before this gets racist.
Good call. Wait, I want to pad out 1 more minute. I want to make it a 50 even.
50 even? Shit.
Okay.
Trying real hard not to say something that could be racist.
Alright. Give me a topic. Throw me a bone.
You've got like 30 seconds. I don't know.
Alright, throw me a bone. God damn it.
I don't have any bones to throw at you. I'll throw this pen.
Okay, pens. What's your favorite pen? Pilot pen. Ticonderoga pencils. Pencils. Why does everyone love Ticonderoga pencils? Like, I know they're really good, but like, what about just like regular ass like pencils? Like
best sharpening and best eraser quality.
Okay. I guess I can see that. But, like, I don't know. The best thing to me about pencils was, like, seeing a good sharpener. My father's an artist. He had the best sharpener, and he still has that sharpener, and it's awesome, and I love it. He also had a mechanical pencil. It's a sharp mechanical pencils where you stick it in the top, and you rotate it.
And there's the 50-minute mark, so we're going to get out of here before Peter
then you hit the block eraser
rants more about
and
pencils.
magic erasers, and that's really micro
So
abrasion
goodbye.
technique.